Breaking news in the last 30 minutes, the Way 31I team obtained this scathing letter the governor and attorney general sent to the parole board. They told the board its reform plan is not nearly good enough. Ivey and Steve Marshall asked the same question we did 2 weeks ago, how the board will make good on the promises that it made.
Right now, it's back to the drawing board for the parole board after the Way 31I team uncovered massive flaws in the system. The governor questioned the leadership of the parole board, how it makes decisions, how it created a plan for change, and why basic systems aren't already working. This all started after police in Guntersville arrested a man for killing 3 people over the summer. The I-team uncovered the suspect, seen here, Jimmy Spencer, was a career criminal serving a life sentence who was recently paroled. When we learned he repeatedly broke his terms of parole, Governor Ivey got involved.
Way 31's Brecken Terry is live in Franklin County where Spencer's crime started. She's looking into how a lifelong criminal serving a life sentence was paroled, broke terms of parole several times.
Yeah, guys, there are a couple of really important bullet points I want to go over that are in the governor and attorney general's response to the parole board's corrective action plan. Now, as you said earlier, the attorney general and governor told the parole board they had to strengthen leadership in this corrective action plan, which basically the parole board said, oh, well, we're going to do some training across the board with leadership and things like that. But the governor and attorney general's response said that's not good enough. We want to know why y'all feel like there doesn't need to be any major changes at the leadership roles of the parole board. Now, some other interesting things that they talked about is what will this extra training look like? You know, the parole board's corrective action plan said that staff from the top to the bottom would get all of this statewide training, but it never really went into specifics about that training, and that's what the governor and attorney general's office want to know is exactly what is this training and how will it benefit in fixing the parole board's issues. Now, some other things that they wanted to know is what specific changes should be made to the notification process. Now, in the parole board's corrective action plan, they just said that they knew that the notification system wasn't good enough and that they were going to be looking at some things. But again, they never went into exact specifics as to what they could change to actually fix the victim notification system. And not only that, but the governor and the attorney general actually brought up the fact that the parole board did not consult with any outside entities when they were making this corrective action plan. And when this plan came out, I went to victims' families, across the state of Alabama and discussed this plan with them, and they basically told me it was nothing more than a dog and pony show. Victims' families have said this corrective action plan is not good enough. And a couple of weeks ago, I asked the parole board spokesperson Daryl Morgan, what's their response to that? And here's what he had to say. Action to that.
Well, I mean, we understand that the plan probably is not going to satisfy everybody. We understand that there's always going to be people or individuals that's going to want it to go further.
Now, back in October, when the governor and attorney general held this press conference saying that they were disappointed in how the parole board was acting and their policies and procedures, I asked the governor, I said, she put a 30-day moratorium or a 75-day moratorium on them, which halted early paroles. And I asked her, I said, what if the parole board doesn't come up with this corrective action plan, or what if you and the attorney general do not like or approve this corrective action plan when it comes out? And she told me that they would cross that bridge when they got there, and obviously we are at that bridge now because the parole board seems to be back at the drawing board at this point. Live in Franklin County, Brecken Terry, Way 31 News.
Thanks, Brecken. The Way 31I team uncovered mistake after mistake made by the parole board in Spencer's case. We sifted through hundreds of pages of jail records to learn why he should never have been released from prison, and after he was, found several times he should have been sent back. You can see all of it yourself by going to waytv.com, scrolling over the news tab and clicking on I-Team, as well as Governor Ivey and AG Marshall's letter to the parole board.
Now, Spencer was supposed to be in court Monday, but that date has been pushed back to March. That's also when a judge will rule on a mental evaluation. In the meantime, Spencer remains in the Kilby Correctional Facility in South Alabama.